Hi everyone, I'm Andy Zanger, Director of Strategic Industries here at CDW. Thanks for joining us for a look back at NRF 2024's big show that just took place in New York City. I'm joined today by Jill Klein, Head of IoT and Emerging Tech at CDW, and Gina Cox, Senior Industry Advisor for Retail. It was great to see the energy and buzz on the floor at NRF this year. We saw crowds bigger than ever before. The engagement was great, and it was amazing to hear how clients were talking about how they're using technology to do amazing things for their brands. I'd love to get some feedback, Jill, from you on what you saw on the floor and what you found so exciting this year.
So, this year it was particularly captivating to see the innovative strides that we're making in retail technology. The fact that these technologies are helping our clients and retail bridge the gap between physical and digital commerce and seeing that come together. On a personal note, since I'm in the emerging tech space, one of the things I thought was cool was the connected pallets and the IoT sensors that harvest their own power and don't require batteries. So those were some of the cool things that I saw.
Gina, how about you? What did you see that really caught your interest this year?
Yeah, I think it is such a great time to be in the retail business. Like Jill said, with all the technology out there, I was fascinated with the advancements with RFID, an old technology, but that is being used in so many new, fascinating ways. There was a demo of a lift and learn where you could take a product off a shelf and then a display next to you could display all the details about that product or a video, or even if you wanted recommended items. So fascinating. Loved what I saw in the connected dressing rooms using RFID. Just amazing. We can really make the customer experience so much better with all these new technologies.
Yeah, I think it's no doubt that obviously AI was everywhere on the floor, but RFID really had a strong presence this year, and it appears that it's finally making that tipping point to moving into other areas of the business beyond just inventory management and loss prevention. And it's great to see that retailers are recognizing that they can leverage that technology across multiple use cases to increase their ROI. I think we'd be remiss though if we didn't talk a little bit about AI, because it clearly was everywhere. Jill, what are some of the most interesting things that you saw happening with AI at the show?
I think it's prime time for video analytics and edge compute AI solutions to really be implemented in our stores and see our clients take that technology on. Another solution that I thought was great was some of the sensor solutions that allow retailers to see their supply chain end to end. I think those are big game changers.
Yeah, how about you, Gina? Any additional thoughts on that?
I agree with Jill. Just the advancement of the sensors and just using the data to make real-time decisions about what your customer needs. It's just huge.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's also important to think about is that we want to make sure that retailers don't get ahead of themselves and try to implement AI just for the sake of implementing AI. We talk to a lot of our clients about the fact that it's really important to start with what you're trying to solve for. What is that business outcome and business objective that you're trying to achieve? And then determining what the right technology is to solve for that. And if you start with a technology and not a business objective, you're much less likely to achieve that ROI. And, I think though there is a lot of things that retailers can do along the way as they think about how do they get to a true AI strategy and leverage that technology. And Jill, one of the things that, we talked a lot about, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations about the fact that at the end of the day, when you think about AI, it really is an engine that's ingesting data and other inputs and making something out of them. And one of those places that there are a lot of inputs that are coming from are in the space of IoT. What are you seeing that retailers how are they able to take advantage of what IoT represents and using it with AI?
Yeah, it's a very interesting time for IoT in the retail space. I think that the potential of transformation that it offers, it's revolutionizing the industry as we know it today. It's becoming a strategic imperative for these retailers to survive and thrive in the rapidly evolving market. I think there's so many changes that are happening out there. We kind of have a systemic approach to help enable clients to transform their business. We've got a workshop that we do with clients that really helps them get started. And back to what you said, we start with the business first, technology second. So it's founded in their goals for transformation.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it really is key to have that plan. You need to know where you're going. And so, Gina, I think one of the things that, clearly is always a big focus on at the show is the checkout experience, removing friction from that experience and making sure that both the store associate and the customer have a seamless experience and don't have friction. And so you've worked for a lot of amazing customer-focused brands in your past. What did you see on the show floor about checkout modernization that caught your eye?
I think with the advancement in RFID and the computer vision, there is a lot we can do for the customer. A lot of customers are not responding well to all of the self-checkouts out there. They're a little clunky, but using RFID where they don't have to scan each item, that you can put your basket there, that they can just understand what's in your basket and charge and go, I think that will help alleviate a lot of the friction we're seeing out there.
Yeah, Gina, I absolutely agree. I think there are so many innovative ways that we can remove friction from the process, both for the customer and for the store associate. And RFID absolutely represents one of those opportunities to unlock the power of that experience. And, there's so many other things that we could talk about, so many great things, exciting things that we saw at the show. I'd like to invite everyone to join us, though, on Thursday, February 15th at noon Central Time, where we'll talk a little bit about what we are seeing in the industry and how it's being used to innovate and do amazing things for your customers. So we look forward to seeing you on CDW's LinkedIn page, and of course, visit cdw.com/retail to learn more about all of the CDW solutions for the retail industry. Thanks for joining us.